Then we allow them to, as you can see, list the shop. Now, the shop's a slightly different concept. If you remember at the start of the presentation I mentioned, there was no business plan, there was no business model in place to actually monetize this business at all. So it was all a free business, and let's just put content out. What happened was we managed to get a load of designers saying they needed somewhere to sell. So Stefan thought, well, we can do that. Why not? We've got the platform, we've got the visitors, we've got all the other content on there, we've got their profile, so why not give them a showcase to actually add some listings? And what started was 50 items by 50 designers on the website, and they were all selected by celebrities. So we would get the latest celebrities from New York and things like that, pick in some products, and they would say, right, we're going to put these 50 on. So very curated, very small, but it meant we had full control of every product, every image, and as you can see, perfect white backgrounds, perfect design for the products, makes it really easy to see. That's now obviously moved on, and if you look at the current pages, then products will be on blue backgrounds, black backgrounds, anything they want. There'll be pictures of people in meadows, under trees, on the pool side, as we've evolved. And what we found was there was such a great response to them 50 items, but the problem was they were selling out. So the designers were getting a one-hit wonder, and they needed somewhere else to say, we can put more of our collection on. And of course, designers don't just have one piece in their collection, whether you're doing industrial design, fashion, anything. You've got a range, there's a whole collection to go. So we said, let's open this platform up, and let's actually let people put on up to 16, 17 products. We opened the doors, and over the last year and a half, there's been 500 people selling on the platform. And through those 500 people selling, we now have about 1,500 products available for customers to buy. All those products change seasonally. All those products are edited, uploaded, and put on the site by the designer. We curate the terminology, and we make sure things sound as if they should, because obviously for search engine optimization and everything else, we need to make sure certain things are in there. But we do make the designer put the work in. By the designer putting the work in to list their products, we find a higher success rate of conversions, and we actually find when the orders are submitted, people really, really care about what they're actually sending out as well, because they've put the work into it. One great thing, this was November last year, was Stefan Segel's mother decided to buy a necklace off a website. Why she didn't just tell us that she wanted it would have probably been easier, but she went on, we saw the order come through. 2 days later, a top American journalist for a top magazine decided that she wanted that necklace, and she'd been looking at it for a couple of days. When she went to buy it, it was gone. So gave us a phone call, actually probably her PR or someone gave us a phone call, and it was one of those conversations where I need it, I want it, how do I get it? And that's the power of this platform. And from that day on, we managed to get it. We had no choice. She wasn't going to take no for an answer. We decided to take the site in a slightly different direction as well. We've now gone made to order. Now, for a lot of websites who are selling and doing everything else we do, you would never think of putting made to order, custom clothing, jewelry on the website and telling customers that it can take up to 4 weeks for a product to come. We do, it works, and we get so much feedback from people saying, great idea. And that way, people can buy into a piece of uniqueness. Every piece that's handcrafted, every piece that's stitched and sewn is made for you. We take people's sizes, so if you're buying an evening gown, we will take all the bust, the hips, everything, the full length, we take your height, and we'll get the products actually made to you. And it's not overly expensive. When you look at the prices on the site, there's some things that go to £5,000-6,000, but for most made-to-order items, you're talking about £300. So it's affordable luxury fashion, but made for you. And I don't believe there's many sites actually doing that sort of concept. On here as well, we list the designer directory, and the designer directory is a really great tool, and this is one thing a lot of the press really, really love. And they can go through the whole A to Z of absolutely everyone on the website. They can get in contact with them. And we've always said, we don't want to be the person who has to contact the designer every 2 minutes when someone wants an inquiry. We can't curate a site constantly and keep up with that sort of level of communication. 13,000 people, 4,000 graduates every year, thousands and thousands of press, media, stylists and everything else. So we have a function on here of contact the designer, and that allows anyone on the shop to contact the designer. So yes, one could say the customers could contact the designer and put the products through the designer direct, cutting us out, but they don't, and the designers always push people back. Yeah, and how do we work? So most people probably are interested in, well, we don't stock the goods. The goods, uniquely, you can order from the UK, we're a UK-based company. They can be ordered in Brazil, shipped over to the USA. Some items can get there in 3-4 days, obviously due to shipping. Others, if it's made to order, take a bit longer. But we give the designers the power to ship the products out. But then we also panic a little bit. What are the customers actually going to receive? They're going to receive the goods, but are they going to get it in a horrible black carrier bag wrapped up and called design? Or are they going to get a nice box and something really, really nice? And we found that by a random sample, all our designers actually send something really nice, proper packaging, designed. So not only are you getting the online experience of having something unique or different, you're also getting a follow-through service that you don't get on other websites now. The designed packaging, the personal handwritten notes saying thank you. Where else do you get that? Everything's typed, printed, and everything else. And that's what's kept the platform going. So we are one of the, I guess, creative websites out there. We do rely heavily on content. We do rely on our designers sharing and going through everything. So designers need help. We all know that. Everyone who's emerging doesn't have big budgets. They need some guidance. They need support. And they don't always get given the right advice. People come out of the colleges, the institutions, and they're told, right, you will mark your product up by X, then the retailer will mark it up by another X, and then, of course, people think that they can automatically sell the products at the same prices as Westward and GoTA and people like that. So we bring people back down to a level. We give them some actual sound advice, saying, look, you're emerging. Whilst it would be great to put them really high price tags, why don't we start and give them some business advice? So what we do is we start looking at their brand development with them. So anyone can use these services. They're all free of charge. And so what we do look at saying is, right, what are you doing for marketing? You can use our platform to market, but that's not enough. How are you going to get your communication? How are you going to get your voice heard? And yes, a lot of it is about obviously getting contacts in the press and getting goods onto Lady Gaga. Wouldn't we all love that? But at the end of the day, they need to look at, right, how are we doing this digitally? How are we going to showcase the opportunities on the website? So what technology can we use to push our brand and actually make a difference out there? We also then give them a little bit of mentoring. We obviously promote any designer on our platform. We also give them some complimentary legal advice, which, yeah, it costs us through our time, but actually it's a great benefit to a lot of people. But then we also, as you can see on the bottom, we offer a lot for schools, institutions, and other things. We go to a lot of universities, colleges, and do lectures about setting up for fashion and things like that. And the business has grown through all of this work that we've been doing. So these are just a few bits and pieces that have been covered, featured. As you can see, we've had a little bit of coverage in Vogue and Vanity and people like that. But But the main thing there, I think we're really proud of, is we're looking at Vivienne Westwood's website with them as a partnership. We did the Mercedes-Benz sponsorship of a fashion last year. We worked with 10 Downing Street, which is great for us. And we work with the Royal College of Art, the Vienna colleges, and we've been able to really, really push the platform and gain credibility within the space for what we do. And it's not all about just our model of that we give everything away free and let people sell, but it's actually that people can source genuine information. Now, any website, as we all know, to last and to have longevity needs to offer content that's actually useful. And we have one article that was published by our friends, The Independent, 3 years ago, and boss, I hate to say it, is actually still, to this day, the biggest driving article of traffic to our website. And it's about slow fashion. And for some reason, it just keeps getting reboosted on their website, and they obviously see a lot of traffic coming, and we just keep getting the traffic coming in. So great for us. This goes on a little bit differently, and we start talking about individuality being key. Designers need to be individual in order to do something completely different out there. If they're doing the same old, you're going to get the same old. And that comes down into the design of a site as well. Everyone's now starting to copy what not just Labour's been doing over the last 4 or 5 years. We're seeing a lot of editorial websites coming up. Everyone's using the 4-block column, making a few little pretty images and a few little banners. So it's working out how to make that slightly different going forward. And we're also looking at luxury here as well. And when you start talking about luxury, how many people go onto a website and spend a lot on new emerging designs? Everyone will go to the Net-a-Porters in the UK, My Wardrobe and Boticas and things like this. But actually, when you start looking at doing something really different, this is what not just the label does. And in this sense, we highlight under the Black Sheep section, which is a dedicated section for super emerging talent, as we would say, where people have really made an effort. They're starting to be picked up by journalists, they're being picked up by press and everything else. So that section we try to keep really fresh and make sure that the designers to be featured on there have relevant content over time. They write articles for us and push that content around. At the end of the day, the best advocate for any business is your customers. The best advocate for us, our customers and our designers, because our designers will be linked into hundreds of people. So if I dread to do the calculation, but 13,000 people look at their networks that they're related to, and that's how we get our message out there. And once they go into the Black Sheep section, we see the traffic coming even more and more, and the amount of inquiries we start getting. So it's almost self-promotion for the designer to get their profiles up to date as quickly. We also work on the ethics of a slow fashion. Now, fashion's very disposable, as we all know, and most people on average now will wear something 4 times, then it's in the bin, which isn't good. And this website is trying to actually get designers to produce garments and items that are really great quality, but on the other hand, that people are proud to own, that want to actually keep using time and time and time again. And we are a very social business. We do give a lot away, as we mentioned, but we are trying to get people on our wavelength of thinking, make something that's going to last, make something, if you're asking people to pay luxury prices and £300 for an item is still a luxury price for most people, make sure it's sustainable and don't talk about something that's not true. Now, our biggest bugbear is people say they want to use, or they are an organic, sustainable producer of fashion. There's not many places where you actually go and you will see genuine organic fashion. We did a trial to try and produce some t-shirts in organic cotton. So we got proper organic 16 milligram cotton and printed all these t-shirts up. So bearing in mind you can buy the cheap Zara t-shirts, maybe £7-8, H&M and all the other brands, really same sort of price. Just to buy the fabric alone, or get pure 100% organic, was at least £16 to do it. Then that's just the t-shirt. then you need to print it, you need to put something on it. So therefore, there's another implied cost there. And then on top of that, it was the shipping costs as well. So when we're telling designers, if you're talking organic and sustainable, make sure your content's true. Make sure you've looked at the whole supply chain. Don't just look at manufacturing a product. So this is Trent Augustin from Copenhagen. She was one of the first designers to sign up for the website. She's still with us, sells products, and is really giving great feedback around the world about the website. And she is just one of the founding designers with us. So more about the digital ecosystem, I guess. We live streamed quite a few events for the colleges. We had Mango Fashion Awards, the bits live streamed. We'll have discussions live streamed on the website. And what we see, once again, going back to creative content, is people are actually now copying more what we do. In fashion, is very slow in adaptation of new technology. All the other industries will always pick up something and run with it and say, let's do this, let's do that. But unfortunately, fashion's a little bit behind, so we're still pushing boundaries. So we have now been pushing all the web streams, which we're seeing, obviously, people doing it. But the communication as well, we're trying to use every social media platform that is manageable for our business. There was a slide in here, it's been in, it's been out, it's been in. There's over 500 different platforms that you could use free of charge to push your business message. Is that relevant for every business? No. God forbid anyone who's actually got to try and manage 500 social media presences, never mind using Hootsuite to try and actually manage them or other topics. But we pick the normal ones. We've got the Pinterest, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, and more recently is the LinkedIn. And why LinkedIn? Most of our PR, most of our schools, most designers are now using LinkedIn. It's obviously a massive platform for B2B. It's like, why aren't we actually promoting our messages and our editorial and our content within that section and within our company so people can see what we're doing? Because obviously Facebook is great, but slowly coming away from that. We see more traffic coming in towards the Twitter and Pinterest. And funny enough, when we start looking at digital channels, when you start monetizing your traffic, what becomes really interesting is the Instagrams and the Pinterest actually drive revenue so much higher than Facebook and Twitter. Whether that's just for us, whether it's a global thing, we yet to see. So we've then analysed what's actually driving that traffic in. What posts are driving the traffic to the site and making us money? I can't tell you why, but it's sunsets. Everyone loves a sunset. It doesn't matter if you're in Spain, if you're in Italy, anywhere. Everyone wants to post a sunset. And sunsets bring people to the site. Is that something to say that we're doing wrong? Are they not interested in our fashion? But hey-ho, it's one of those ways we have to move. And as I said, and I'll come on to it in just a moment, it's not just about what we do digitally for ourselves, it's what we do digitally for other people. We are looking at partnerships with Vivian and other pieces like that, but it's not just building a website. Anyone can build a website, anyone can set up a page, but it's actually taking it to one next step. It's saying to people, let's make sure our platform's sustainable for the future. We use Drupal. Drupal is a free platform. It doesn't cost us anything other than the hosting and the design elements to build. So when people come onto our site, we will always say to them, this is what we're using, and then we'll encourage people, if they're wanting to build a website, build on this platform because it's free. Designers haven't got money to waste on platforms and spending thousands and thousands. You can do enterprise by all means, but if you've got the money to do that. And then we're also looking at how do we take this concept forward? How do we communicate for the next couple of years how do we capture our audience for the next couple of years? And we know we need to be going into the likes of mobile media. Now, is mobile right for this platform? Some people say yes, some people say no. Designers say they would love it because then they can just pop their profile on. But I don't know how many people have tried uploading loads of content to on a mobile phone to a platform like this. Try updating your LinkedIn profile. You'll come across more bugbears than anything when you're trying to do it. So yes, we will look at mobile, but it will be a condensed type of communication so that we can have sections for press, media, so that they can find the designers, they can add designers to their networks so we can let people use it in more of that way. And then there'll be a very basic rundown shop. So, moving on. I think this sums up probably most of us on a day, at least once a month, where you're very solitude. And this is Rachel Boston from London, and once again she's been on the site. And what's really interesting with this slide is most of us work alone at times. We're not sure what direction we're going in, and we need to understand really what's going on. And it just highlights what we're doing, I think. So just a few little bits about the business. So we've got 13,000 designers on the platform. Working with over 102 different countries. We've got coverage from over 400 fashion shows in 2012. We get over 450,000 visits to the Not Just a Label website every month, and we just get just under 4 million page views, which in contrast to some of the larger websites, obviously it's not as big as the BBC's and people like that, but it's still a lot for a dedicated portal for fashion. We have over 58,000 contacts on social media, and we have 40,000 newsletter subscribers. Between the social media and the newsletter subscribers, that's our key communication tools. As I mentioned, we use all these different channels, and we've now been able to analyze where people come from. This is just a very quick slide, and it's about the new culture of entrepreneurs needing to exploit every resource they can, realistically. And how things are changing, and it's not just the normal business environment's changing, but web technology is changing as well. And as we expand everything we do, we have to think outside of that box, and we need to think, where are we going to be in 5-6 years' time? So what does our website do? We try to engage and cultivate people with content. We try to support people. We try to help them. We try to get people to be very authentic on the site. We don't want the bog standard designers on the high street. At the end of the day, when you start looking at Ralph Lauren and everyone else, they aren't really design houses now, they're just production houses. So let's bring this back to designers and give it a portal for people. Let's be really social. We speak at loads of events. As mentioned, we're in Representa with Origins in Venice, and there'll be lots of Twitters and social media bits going on. And then word of mouth. We always like to speak to as many people as we can about our platform. These were some guys in London just on a shoot, and you can see they had no money to start with, and they came up with these designs, really out there, really different. But what we have is the main part is the way we communicate with people. And what we're saying is it's in the bottom two, really. A lot of traditional media looks at customers, we look at collaboration. We want to talk with people, we're not interested in talking to people. If we just talk to people, it's pointless. We're not selling, we're sharing. And they're the sort, I'm not going to go through all the words, but it's just all these different bits, the pulls that we're trying to do. And I think the main thing on there for everyone here is the static content. We don't have static content on the website. It will always move and evolve. We will update articles as we come. I've talked about sustainability. I'm going to skip that one in the interest of time. So really, we look for great products. We look for new patterns in design. We try and change the way our designers think, they work. And we try to get them, I guess, to do something different, to be intuitive. And I think that's probably my time up as well. So there we go. Thank you.